Welcome to the shortwave radio channel, and as we continue to explore the spectrum of the HF frequency ranges, let's now check out what's in 5,000 to 6,000 kilohertz, but with notable signals that you might want to try that are there quite regularly. So let's start with the bottom part, of course, is WWV and WWVH, and there are other time signal stations there, including South Korea, BPM China. Then, of course, we are at the end of the 60-meter band, so that means there will be some stations here. 5010 is one frequency for WRMI. Sometimes comes in not too bad up here. 5050 kilohertz, often another WRMI frequency. Often with WRMI Legends, which comes from the spin-off, if you want, of the WTWW music show. And that's pretty much what we hear. There's, of course, other stations that can pop up here, so check it out. There's one in Australia, 5045, I believe. So check it out, definitely. Radio Angela, which is a broadcast from WBCQ 5130. And as we continue up the band, a lot of utility stuff. There's a few channels that are amateur radio. So if you come across some amateur radio stations, yep, definitely there could be some amateur radio stuff in there. There's, of course, Kodar here, 5260. So this is also ocean wave radar. Current direction, stuff like that. So like I said, on the ranges here, 53, 57 is one frequency where you can hear some amateur stuff. This 5347. CQ. K3 something. So there's a K3 station, a ham station, of course. Oh, look at that. These lines are interference here that you see here move up. So this is one frequency for amateur radio. 5357 often has some FT8. That is one of the things that you hear there. Is you sometimes hear voice communications. In between here, there's a lot of mysterious signals that you should check out. Here in Quebec, sometimes we have the bush-type radios that are up north when a lot of the fishermen and hunters go up north. They communicate through radio because there's really nothing else to do, and they have these HF radios in this range, 5200, 5300 kilohertz that they use. As you move up, of course, we get into a aeronautical band where there's a lot of activity. It's one of the major bands I listen to in the evening a lot for communications to check out for the amateur band. So one notable signal is 5450, which seems to be rather weak tonight. So 5450 is the Royal Air Force One weather station in the UK. Usually comes in better than that. 5505 is Shannon, Ireland aeronautical station. What you've just seen cross the band here is a Ionosound, which is a radar that checks for propagation conditions of the ionosphere. So you've seen it strike across here. It happens often because there's a lot of them going through the bands all day long. Then as we go up in the band, here is aeronautical, so 5616, 5598, 5550. These are all different aeronautical routes for planes. So there's the North Atlantic, there's Caribbean, everything's in there. Gander, New York. On the West Coast, you'll have San Francisco. Of course, you'll have Shannon, you'll have the Azores, you'll have so many stations. Iceland, towards Europe. So it's a very active band, so check it out. Sometimes when I want to hear traffic, what I do is I just punch in 5616 upper sideband and just leave it there. And I know that at some point I will hear some communications when conditions are good. Propagation, once again, tonight, not that great, so it does not help in hearing these stations, but lots of activity here. And I've made videos in the past anyways. Starting above about 5700, we can kind of say that we're starting the 49-meter international broadcast band. And this is one of the most popular international broadcast bands, so lots of stations. If I look quickly here, of course in AM mode, WRMI 5800. We have 5850, another WRMI frequency. 5890, I think it's WWCR. 5935 also. 5950.
The show will continue because of the backup system.
WRMI.
And it's not just, the website hosting and the data.
And Radio Vanny Cuba often here. And of course, depending on the schedule times and the time you're listening to, lots of other things pop up here in the bands of Voice of America and so on throughout the evening, the night. It's mostly in nighttime, late afternoon, night, and evening and night band up to early morning. And it's one of those bands that continues up to above 6,000 kilohertz, and we'll talk about it when we'll look at the 6,000 to 7,000 kilohertz range. So I hope you enjoyed this look at what's between 5,000, 6,000 kilohertz, with a few hints here and there of things that you can actually monitor and listen to. Once again, it's a range that also has a lot of Russian single letter channel markers and Morse code. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up.